If I had to describe Aragami in one sentence, I would say Tenchu with good controls and shadow magic. I'm sure Tenchu was very innovative when the first game came out, but I can't stand the controls and the enemy detection is very unreliable these days. I love when I pick a game to play, and hearing about it makes me brace for the worst, but the experience proves itself to be an awesome surprise. Picture controlling a cold ninja with shadow-themed abilities doing real ninja things in an edgy fantasy setting, and you know exactly what to expect of this. If you thought hack and slash action game, then I don't think you understand what doing real ninja things implies. This is a stealth game, you can't bargain against it. If an enemy lands and hit on you, it's back to the last checkpoint. That might sound annoying, but the level layouts, your skills and controls, they all make this work great. According to the plot, the main character is an Aragami. That's not his name, that's just what this game calls whatever it is the character is. Like some sort of vengeful spirit summoned by someone else. In this case, the white-haired lady Yamiko, who talks to you very often during levels. She needs your help to find 5 talismans and free an empress of a conquered nation from the enemy army, the Kaiho, who use the power of light. Since you're a shadow being, light and sunlight can turn into nothing. There is no time limit mechanic, even though you're told you have to get everything done before the sun rises. The story is very predictable until an interesting twist near the end. There are a couple plot twists, but one of them can be seen from a mile away. The presentation isn't all that, which is to be expected for a budget game. But the way the ending cutscene is sent on delivery honestly impressed me. If you pay attention to the story up to that point, it should leave you pleasantly surprised just as it did me. I wouldn't blame you if you struggle to focus on the plot since the presentation of the dialogue is so sterile for most of the time. You can choose between 3 difficulties when starting or selecting a chapter. As far as I can tell, they affect how many guards will be in the chapter and what the detection range is, but they don't seem to affect your final rank. You can get a lot done with just your starting moveset. All you really need to succeed is your Shadow Leap ability and awareness of the guards' positions. Most guards can't detect you if you're in the shadows, but later in the game there are a few that can if you're close enough. Guards can also detect you by sound, which is why you use the right shoulder button to move slower but quietly. With this ability you can either dash or leap from shadow to safety and your final destination, or move in close to a guard from behind to execute a stealth kill. Even if you can't leap right behind a guard, as long as you're very quick about it, you can kill them undetected even from the front, but don't try to do that if they have their lightsabers on. As you find scrolls hidden around the levels, you can spend skill points to unlock more perks and moves that, while not required to beat the game, can still make a world of difference in how easily you can move ahead. Some skills are meant for killing, while others are a great asset at passing undetected when you can't find a safe road otherwise. These skills add some replay value as well, offering you more strategic approaches, or maybe just more sheer amusement from watching 2 or more guards get absorbed to the void. There are enough scrolls for you to unlock every Aragami skill, but I recommend reading the descriptions ahead of time to plan which skills to prioritize. That can make a huge difference. The downside of having to choose the order you want to learn is that depending on what skills you pick, the gameplay might turn out more or less repetitive than it should be. I focused on the more supportive skills first, and the problem with that was not getting to use any of the less passive skills until 6 chapters in. Those active skills can be used twice unless you recharge using one of the shrines from the levels or you do a shadow kill. I love shadow kill, it's the most useful skill in the game. The game points to where your objective is, and you have to come up with a safe path through without being spotted and alerting the guards. The levels are designed to let you make your own decisions on how to reach locations in a semi-open manner. Not only could you pick up a completely different routes for each playthrough, but you can also choose to kill the guards in your way, kill every single one of them, or just pass all the way without being seen or killing. Killing everyone is definitely the slowest alternative. You have to spend extra time observing how guards move to make sure you don't attract too much attention when killing, and especially not leaving bodies behind. If you do, there is a good chance someone will find the body and alert the entire army. There are 2 skills that help with the bodies, and you should absolutely unlock one of them as soon as you can. Your shadow leaping ability also lets you skip past traps made of light, fenced gates, or quickly climb ledges if there is enough shadow covering them. In later levels, it can get a little hard to tell what is a real shadow you can leap and hide in and what isn't, but I rarely had that kind of issue. There are a lot of spots to hide in every section, and indoor locations are usually entirely covered by shadow, which works in your favor. You eventually learn a skill that lets you create a temporary shadow leap spot for you to use. But naturally, you're supposed to avoid strong sources of light. Those will drain away your shadow energy. Without it, you can't use shadow leap. Staying in shadows will cause it to regenerate. You can tell how much shadow essence you have by looking at the character's cloak. That's also how you tell what active skill you have set and how many usages of that skill you have left. This is a good implementation of what could have been a heads-up display element, because the information is still available but nothing is blocking your view of any nearby guards. The game will rate your play based on how good you were at staying hidden and how many guards you killed. You get some special reward for completing a mission completely undetected, or while you're killing every single guard, or not killing them at all. Those awards unlock skins you can select in the main menu, but I didn't care for those. They don't look tremendously appealing. Even though each difficulty in each chapter have their own separate seals, the game will not count those as extra seals. Only one of each seal is taken into account for each chapter, no matter the difficulty. The game doesn't explain this at all, and I only found this information by reading the developer's response online on Steam. In my opinion, if you're not trying to complete every achievement or trophy in the game, there is no reason to play on the hardest difficulty. This mode makes the enemy detection range pretty unreliable. I was being detected out of nowhere by some of the enemies even when not moving and waiting under the side in the shadows. In my experience, completing runs without killing any guards might be the most challenging way to play the game. It really puts your ability to handle your shadow techniques and tactical thinking to a test. But I think killing every guard is way more fun. That's kind of what ninjas do. Have you ever heard of pacifist ninjas? No, you haven't, because that'd be silly and those ninjas would get laughed at. Actually, real-life ninjas were training for information gathering, sabotage, and reporting. Although some of them were training for fighting the battlefields, that wasn't the primary role of a shinobi. So a ninja that doesn't kill isn't strange at all. Isn't it amazing how much you can learn while attempting to come up with a stupid joke? The art direction is obviously influenced by Eastern Asian culture, but the characters speak in pure gibberish instead of any real language. It's not the annoying N64 Rare Collectathon kind of gibberish noise though. Speaking of noise, the game has music, and there are only 3 kinds of moments you'll be aware of it. Cutscenes and menus are obvious too, and it sounds really nice and, given the plot, appropriately melancholic. The rest of it is meant to be dynamic ambience that helps you be aware of how close the guards are to noticing you. Now, I don't have many complaints about the game. I really had a blast with it, but some of the level sections are way too freaking long between checkpoints. Getting attacked and having to restart those sections from the start with all enemies respawn is extremely demoralizing to say the least. The game also features a few boss levels. They are very few, but I don't like how they seem to force you to play one way to succeed when every other chapter is so flexible. If the way they want to play doesn't match how you've been clearing the normal chapters, you might get incredibly frustrated with the boss strategies. I also run into more glitches than I'd like guards appearing literally out of the vacuum to follow a sound I made across the map, or guards getting stuck in a pixel walking in place. This one goes to the Retro Hangover Podcast review crew over their Discord, so I have to give it some kind of rating. Aragami gets a rating of 8 out of 10. This is as close as you can get to living the fantasy of being a shadow ninja spirit doing ninja things. Whether you reach your objective after killing every god from the shadows or leap from corner to corner without being noticed, when you're done with a mission, you feel like a total badass. It doesn't get more ninja than that. And if you don't like ninjas, there is something seriously wrong with you. Find help. Thanks for watching and take care.